I need to make an important parenthesis about private property and home ownership. This is because the most common criticism against mega landlords asserts that families of would-be homeowners cannot compete with the acquisition power of global investment firms, making it impossible for most citizens to afford the purchase of a home, and thus forcing them to be renters for life, mostly crushing the dream of home ownership, that sacred right to possess and to have private property that has been so deeply ingrained in our capitalist societies. And this is now threatened by bigger capitalist predators. This critique is indeed correct. But for many of us that have advocated for housing as a fundamental human right, the idea of home ownership as speculative private property is at the root of the problem and needs to be contested. Housing for many of us is a right that cannot be speculated on. It is the site for individual development, collective production, and social reproduction that must be accessible to everyone. Therefore, our work for housing justice is always focused on the eradication of the private property housing market by supporting the design and development of community-controlled, non-speculative property models of living, such as limited equity housing cooperatives and community land trusts. I feel it was important to make this parenthesis because almost every article I have recently read about mega landlords romanticizes home ownership and private property as if everything was nice and perfect before the mega landlords came into the picture and stole the right or dream away from the middle class. To understand the current threat of mega landlords, we must have present that housing under capitalism and its system of private property has always been an instrument for the continuous coercion, exploitation, and wealth extraction of the general population. Let me put this clear. Landlords are social parasites. They provide no social value. They are so focused on extracting money that they perceive people's basic need for a shelter as an opportunity to generate substantial profits. They exist because they are legally permitted to accumulate wealth by privatizing and controlling the access to a home, which is an essential element of human survival. Building upon this critique, residential mega landlords are just the latest and more evil stage of this capitalist nightmare. So to close this parenthesis, I want to read a quote from Karl Marx's economic and philosophic manuscripts. Private property has made us so stupid and one-sided that an object is only ours when we have it, when it exists for us as capital, or when it is directly possessed, eaten, drunk, worn, inhabited, etc. In short, when it is used by us. Although private property itself, again, conceives all these direct relations and realizations of possession only as means of life. And the life which they serve as means is the life of private property. Labor and conversion into capital.